Mrbeast will most likely go down in history as the greatest YouTuber ever. The content that this man produces is truly in a tier of its own, and it felt like nothing could stain or jeopardize his empire until now, because the Kris Tyson allegations are truly sickening. But unlike Dr. Disrespect's case, my intuition is telling me that this drama will change the internet forever. Before I explain to you how this is going to change the internet, let's take a look at the initial drama.
And this is the part I have a problem with. This isn't a group chat. This is literally just him and this other guy that he's been talking to and that he's friends with online. Lava says, "I'm your first Patreon big boy." And he shows that he donated some money. He donated like $1 or something. So it's not enough to meet the goal. And he says, "But not $5, pathetic, just kidding, kissy face." I'll tell you what it means. It means that you're telling him that he needs to donate $5 so you can release your or whatever. He says, "Wait till my Twitch revenue comes in, winky face." And of course, it continues. He says, "Check again," and he tags you, I think. At least that must be you, or he's tagging you. And of course he says, "I posted some fire news for you, please no share." And this is someone that you're talking to that is 14 years old, that you know is 14. And at the end of the day, you cannot be talking about topics like this with someone that is this young.
When you see the positive impact that Mrbeast has, the fact that he's helping people, changing lives, it's hard to believe that he would surround himself with someone who's most likely a pedophile, because in no world should an adult talk in that manner to a minor. Those conversations are truly unacceptable. But when the initial allegations dropped, there wasn't enough evidence to call Kris a pedophile. You could say that Kris was a massive weirdo, but you couldn't call him a pedophile. And when you know the concerned minor came forward to defend him and basically say that those allegations and what was said in those videos was basically BS. But can we really trust someone who idolized his potential groomer as a kid, and who might also be afraid of losing everything by calling this huge figure on the internet? I don't know about you, but personally, I think I would say no. And this led to a vocal point on the internet saying that those people making those videos are basically trying to cancel Kris because it's basically transphobia on full display. But when you see those messages, or the fact that this man was fond of an artist that did CP art, and he even bought one of his posters and hung in his room, I don't know how you think this person isn't a weirdo. I feel like the CIA should check Kris's hard drive. Are we just in case? I thought this topic would unite us in search of truth, but no, people care more about their agendas. And let's be honest, I know if someone who just got exposed like a month ago had that kind of poster in his room, would the reactions be different? You are the judges. You let me know. But little did we know that we would witness in this drama the fastest 180 in history. And I'm telling you, a 180 faster than Goku's instant transmission or Minato's flying Raijin. And those guys use teleportation techniques. Things went south for Kris because the amount of messages that got shown, the amount of people that came forward to expose him, the amount of leaks that we've seen, it feels like we are watching Endgame all over again, that someone just assembled all the heroes of the internet to take down the villain. Even Lava said that this was unacceptable. He still doesn't consider it as grooming, but at least he's aware enough to know that those conversations were inappropriate coming from an adult to a minor. And guys, if I had to show you all the messages, we would be there for like 10 days. So I'll only show you a video of a teen that was in the same Discord as Lava when Kris was sending those messages, and I'll put some DMs from that Discord so you'll be able to see. Plus, if I read some of the messages, YouTube might demonetize, I'm not even getting paid, but age restrict the video, and I'll come back to it later. But that's why I'll just put the pictures and you'll be able to pause and read if you want.
Tyson from Mrbeast used me, manipulated me, and did very inappropriate things with me while I was about 15 years old. I was actually friends with Lava GS at the time, who is the main victim of Kris that everyone has been talking about these last few days, who claims he isn't a victim, but we all know he is, and we all know he probably got paid off. Not only that, but he's also under an NDA from when he worked for Mrbeast Gaming for 2 years, and he tried to get me to join Mrbeast Gaming himself, Lava. He's the one who actually sent me the contract and tried to get me to sign the NDA, at which point I ended our friendship because I knew they were just trying to silence me. Me and him were both initially involved in running Kris's Discord server, helping him set up his Twitch streams and moderating them.
Nate's calling me. Hey, what's up? You're on stream.
You just leaked your address. Please end your stream. As well as other technical back-end things that he needed help with. This Discord server that we were a part of had about 10 people in it, most of whom were minors. I'm not sure how they got in there, other than me and Lava. He won a giveaway and Kris invited him after that. And Kris invited me after I saw one of his tweets asking for help setting up a Garry's Mod server for the 10 million subscriber Mrbeast video. This turned into us having lots of private conversations with Kris and playing video games with him for hours on end. Not only did we do a lot of unpaid work for him that he promised he would pay us for, he would also frequently bring up sexual topics that was definitely not appropriate to bring up around 15, 16-year-olds, especially with him being like, I don't know, 20, 21 years old. He would even go as far as linking me several different corn and hentai videos throughout the time of me talking with him. Not only that, but he had an NSFW bot in his Discord server before he made it public. So when it was just a private server, his little circle of minors. And he would use this NSFW bot to spam different corn images, alongside all these 15-year-olds. He would also frequently call me dad and daddy as well as the others, which I guess we all kind of just took as a joke at the time. You have to think this is someone who we looked up to at the time, we idolized, we thought was the coolest person in the world, so they couldn't really do any wrong in our eyes. But looking back, I was definitely uncomfortable at being called daddy by a 20-year-old. Even just thinking about it now, it's just uncomfortable. This server later went public and became his official Discord server, but before it did, he had me and Lava spend multiple days scrubbing this Discord server clean of all of the N-words he had sent in it, as well as his friends, as well as deleting the NSFW channels and making sure no one could see that he was spamming corn to minors. This story is so much bigger and runs so much deeper than any of you really realize, so if you want to hear more and you want a part 2, let me know.
Being accused of exploiting and grooming minors. If this is true, I'm not God, but right now it feels like you have a VIP section in hell. Obviously guys, I wasn't in the Discord chat when those messages were sent, but to me, this seems legit, and you would have to be an extremely good editor to produce those kind of messages. And if you still believe that there isn't enough evidence, here's another video of Nathan giving even more evidence.
Due to yesterday's video of me talking about Kris Tyson and what they did to me when I was 15 years old. This video has all the proof in it, all the receipts, and all the screenshots, thanks to an old friend of mine who was a moderator in Kris's Discord server at the time, Cookie. Now, Cookie actually went ahead and downloaded logs of all the individual channels on Kris's server before it went public, knowing that this was kind of being covered up, and he kept the logs of it for himself. He actually reached out to me here on Twitter, and I'm going to provide a lot of the screenshots backing up the claims that I made that Lava refuted. For example, I made a claim that there was an NSFW channel in the server where Kris would spam corn. Here you can see Kris talking about locking down the NSFW channel to True Gods and Anointed only. By the way, this is in 2019. I was a True God and I was a minor. Not only that, but you can see me right below it, Nathan.rtx, saying this is a bad idea. So even I knew as a kid that this was a really bad idea. Here is Lava himself talking about starting the commencement of cleaning the server, word for word. I said he was talking about scrubbing the server. He says that never happened. Here you can see him talking about it, as well as me and Cookie himself talking about it. I just want to make this video real quick, disproving some of the claims that Lava refuted and showing that they actually are true, but I actually have thousands of Discord messages to go through in these logs that I was just provided by Cookie. Shout out to him for giving me them, and I'm going to be going through them and posting an update video with some more proof.
I am aware in those cases, there are instances where people will try to leech off to gain some clout and money, but Nathan came with some solid proof. And if this isn't enough for you, well, some former employees of Mrbeast confirm that Kris is an awful person, that this is only the tip of the iceberg, and that Mrbeast knew.
I'm outside Mrbeast studio right now. Here's a cornfield. I'll explain that tomorrow. I've just been driving by looking to see, you know, is there an FBI raid going on? What's happening? My name's Dawson. I worked at Mrbeast from February to May of this year, 2024. Kris is the tip of the iceberg. And when Jake the Viking says Mrbeast knew, yeah, Mrbeast knew. I heard many times that Ava, Kris Tyson, is a major liability, but they can't get rid of her because she's already threatened legal action and she knows too much. And when all this information comes out about everything that she knew, everything other people know, I promise you on everything Mrbeast is done. Amazon, if you can get your money back, get your money back.
Kris would end up dropping a tweet apologizing and announcing their departure from Mrbeast, and Kris would also drop another tweet denying the grooming allegations, saying that this is all fake, that Lava even confirmed that nothing happened. But this was at the time of the first tweet, and like I said, is Lava fully aware? And Mrbeast would also drop a tweet announcing that he's basically firing Kris from Mrbeast company, that he wasn't aware of their actions, that he had no clue, and that he hired independent investigators to basically investigate the entire situation. And I'll come back to it later, but as of right now, keep in mind the fact that he said he had no clue. And honestly guys, every time we see someone saying, oh, I'm stepping down, I didn't do anything, but you know, I just don't want to harm the company's public image, so I would rather step down. I don't know about you, but to me it feels like you committed the crime, because why would you step down? If you didn't do anything, why would you feel the need to step down? Just come with evidence to prove your innocence. But stepping down when things are getting hotter, it just feels like you're desperately trying to save the last of your goods from that massive tsunami that is about to destroy your empire. We've seen the same thing with Dr. Disrespect. Now we're seeing with Kris. It feels like we're going towards a direction. But now I want to talk about one of the main points of this video and why this drama may be changing the internet. And if I've been mentioning Dr. Disrespect a lot in this video, it's because we are going to compare both cases. This is why guys, if you love to watch a young YouTuber who drops elaborated arguments, I would advise you to sub. You know, it's not an obligation, but it might be life changing. When Dr. Disrespect got exposed, the response from major influencers and media outlets was way more virulent. And like I already mentioned it earlier, at the time, those were similar cases and we had no clue if you had talked to a minor. But you had influencers like Nadia that did not hesitate to call him a pedophile without any evidence. At the time, Dr. Disrespect had not confessed to texting a minor. But despite the amount of evidence incriminating Kris, I still haven't seen Nadia say something. As another example, let's examine these two influencers who most likely tweeted the most infamous tweets of the Dr. Disrespect case and see how they handle Kris's case. You have Poking on one side saying yuck, and you have Valkyrie on one side calling Dr. Disgusting. But for Kris Tyson, they did tweet a more elaborated and less antagonistic response. Dr. Disrespect gave more details, but that still didn't stop you from just calling him Dr. Disgusting. And I'm not saying that Dr. Disrespect is bad, because we still don't know what kind of messages he sent to that minor. He might be just as bad. This is the headline for Dr. Disrespect. Now, this one is for Kris. Despite them talking about the grooming and minor allegations, you can clearly say that it isn't the headline as it is for Dr. Disrespect. I mean, just look at Hassan's response.
Has Hassan talked about Mrbeast Kris? Think about this. This is no different than the Cody Ko shit where people were just like, hey, I know that the current sitting president dropped out of the re-election campaign in the most historic thing that has happened in this election cycle, in a sea of historic things that have happened so far. Has Hassan talked about Mrbeast Kris? Oh no, don't ban me. Just a question. I'm not going to ban you. I do want you to really think about it though. As a political commentator, do you think personally that right now I'm going to be talking about YouTubers?
This guy Hassan has a 26-minute video talking about Dr. Disrespect, but he doesn't want to talk about Kris because of what happened during the elections. My God, you're a streamer. This is a major opportunity for you to make money, and you're telling me that you don't want to buy that cake. What can you expect from a clown who thinks being a streamer is way harder than a normal job. And this is the problem. When those guys reacted to Dr. Disrespect's case, they created a precedent. By reacting to that, every time something similar happens, the public will expect a similar reaction coming from you. If you display a different kind of reaction because the concerned person is part of a minority, don't you think people will be bugged, disturbed, enraged to see you favor one group over the other when there's literally no need considering the case? And I understand that they feel like reacting with the same kind of energy will only lead to hate towards that community, but at the same time, reacting differently because we're talking about a minority will only stir up more hate. I'ma use a simple example. You have 10 people in a room and you treat one person differently in a better way. How do you think the other 9 people are gonna react? No matter what you do, there will always be hate towards a community. That's just how humans are. But not addressing the problem, trying to sugarcoat it, come up with a different approach is literally the best way to create division. If I see a black person being racist towards an Asian person, I will call him out. I won't say, yeah, but you know, we black people have been through so much, can you just let us pass? No. Despite being from different communities, actions aren't affiliated with a community, so we treat everyone equally. This is the whole idea of equality, and no point of mentioning equity when we are talking about those deeds. If they had addressed the drama in the same way they did for Dr. Disrespect, you would see less people preoccupied with the fact that Kris is part of a minority, and by that extent there would be less hate towards the trans community. If people see someone hating just to hate, they won't care. But if they see that person hating because he has a valid reason, I'm not talking about that just in general, then they will most likely join, and good luck stopping that avalanche. It's just like XQC said, we haven't seen the same energy, and when people like Kai, let me show you, reacted, he got backlash for misgendering Kris. We are talking about someone that is being accused of grooming minors. That's someone who is most likely a pedophile from what we've seen. But you're more concerned about another content creator misgendering. But because people on the internet are divided, this is the kind of result we end up with. I'm afraid we are entering an era where people will defend their favorite creator despite him being convicted of doing the worst just because they saw other people doing the same thing for their favorite creator. Or seeing people hate on a creator from a community just because they are tired of seeing that community being pampered. And I'm surprised those massive content creators are oblivious to the side effects of their actions, to what kind of outcome it's leading us to. And you would think because they have millions of followers, they would be the most qualified to understand their human psyche. But no, it just proves that having a big audience doesn't equate to you understanding the human nature. This type of drama will inevitably stain your brand, even if you're Mrbeast. But thanks to his content, he could have easily overshadow it. But the thing is, it seems like Mrbeast knew from the beginning. And you remember that tweet of him saying that he had no clue? Well, apparently Mrbeast was also in those Discord chats. He saw those messages, he read them, he even took part in certain discussions. And although he did not send anything inappropriate to minors, at least as far as I know, but if he knew that there were minors in those Discord groups, and you see the messages he was sending, I'm not gonna lie, it does make him look weird. But like I said, he didn't say anything inappropriate, at least as far as we know. So even that, he could have easily swept it under the carpet. But unfortunately for Mrbeast, more things were coming his way. He had one of his former employees accusing him of being a fraud and basically faking his videos.
Step 1 is getting the viewer to associate the brand with trust and authority. Mrbeast videos are real, and he's a great guy that gives away big rewards to his loyal followers. I will show you irrefutable evidence in a minute that his videos are in fact fake.
And although a current employee debunked those allegations, it still raises the question of whether Mrbeast is actually faking or not his videos, because after that, many people came forward to accuse him of treating them poorly during his latest game for his new Amazon show.
Today is first morning, I guess it's afternoon now, that I've experienced being eliminated from the new Mrbeast game challenge. They eliminated recruited 400 people the first day. Those 400 people, the majority of them were forced by the other team members to be on the specific team they were. Some were just about like physically like assaulted to be put onto one team, which ended up making it like the weakest team, since it was a lot of like elderly people, petite women, and people that just, I mean, they weren't willing to take on 6 guys that were surrounding them trying to take their vest so that they can actually be on that. Of the 400 people that left, the majority of them, I'd say at least half, are all extremely depressed. I don't know if I can say extremely, but I definitely know that they are depressed. As far as I've heard from so many people that I've talked to personally, as well as people that I've spoken to that are employed by other organizations that are around like the games right now, a lot of people have come up and expressed that they are really not doing okay. It was so much work and exhausting to just get to that point to even be in the games, and then to be kicked out, and you kind of get ostracized. The staff, like, they become really cold towards you once you're actually kicked out. Mrbeast does not talk to everybody, all his fans or anything. And
I'm not necessarily going to talk about that in detail because I think it deserves its own video. But what I will say, guys, is remember who Mrbeast is. What kind of image will it reflect of YouTube if they let people think that they have allowed this possible monster becoming the greatest content creator on this platform? It will severely impact their wallet, and that's not what YouTube wants. Apparently YouTube has been trying to silence a lot of YouTubers by demonetizing their videos, age restricting their videos. That's why I said earlier that this one might also get hit, and this feels extremely weird because if you respect the TOS, then there's no need to be afraid of getting hated for no reason. But it feels like a lot of content creators are being targeted and silenced for talking about this subject, despite them talking about similar cases. But because it concerns the biggest YouTuber on this platform, it feels like we're not allowed to say anything. Are you telling me that those leaks, more than 500,000 leaks disappearing out of nowhere, doesn't seem weird? This drama is just changing the internet. The landscape is changing for everyone. The users, the content creators, no one will be spared. But honestly, the internet is just a reflection of the state of the world. That's all. But I guess that'll be all for today's video, guys. Honestly, this drama is truly in a tier of its own. That's all I'm gonna say. Also, 2024 has really been the year to expose creators because the amount of people that have been exposed for those activities is really unbelievable. So if you're a content creator and you know you've done those things, be ready because you might be next. But guys, I just want to say thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, don't hesitate to share, like, comment, let me know where you think the internet is heading. And honestly, like I said, this might be the biggest drama of the year. So man, it's something. This is gonna feed families for a long time. And also, don't hesitate to subscribe. It helps the channel and it makes me happy, and I know you love to make me happy, so you know, come on, sub. So who's like us in the end?